Hi everyone, I'm News Center Maine's Hannah Deneen, and right now we are standing in front of Portland City Hall, where we are experiencing the fourth consecutive night of protest. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, now today, Wednesday evening, starting at 4 o'clock, people have gathered right here in front of Portland City Hall, once again dressed in black, and organizers of the protest are speaking to this crowd. I'm going to try to get a little closer so people can hear better. Shirts. Shirts. I was just saying, I'll move up closer so I can hear better.
Oh, okay. Are we still on?
Yeah.
Okay. On the steps?
I think people can hear from here.
The problems that he goes through, being black in America, is a problem. It's not a problem that we created. It's not a problem that we asked for. It's this cloud. It's this cloud of a system that's above us. That has been created that way. Millions of people died on slave ships brought to this country. And then were stationed here to work for free. Which they still haven't got reparations for. Remember that. 207. Then, had to sacrifice their life and fight for a country that did not fight for them. Then they got freedom. Well, what is freedom? They were abused, they were attacked, they were bombed, the massacres. All of this happened to black youth, black and brown people. This didn't happen to my
ancestors, but this happened to people that came from the same continent as me. Thereafter, segregation. They segregated communities, defunded our schools. They attacked us. No matter what type of nice, peaceful protest, it came off negative. The retaliation came from that. Martin Luther King Jr. said he has a dream, but then he said, I'm afraid that my dream has become a nightmare. He died. 2 days later, there was a riot, everything broke out, and then they signed what is it, Brown versus Board of Education, I believe? I'm not the historian, but I'm trying to figure this out. But then a new system was created. This system of oppression, of mass incarceration, is crazy. 2.3 million people are locked up in this country. That's like 25 to 35% of the world. We only have 4% of the world's population. And it's black people that were redlined, segregated, drug infested, come into our communities and we had housing, public housing. We're like, yeah, but we gave you public housing. And then houses were built, but only given to white people. Yeah. And black people were stuck there. And the houses then was like 14,000, maybe 18,000. But now they're 100,000 and 300,000. And they asked, are black people poor? Because they lost their equity.
Unless he's talking about handing over Shivi, but I don't think so.
For everyone who's watching us on Facebook, we are going live on News Center Maine's televised newscast right now, and after that we will return to listening to this protest, listening to these speakers. Krister, how much time do I have? Hi, Cindy. Yes, that's right. For the fourth consecutive afternoon, a peaceful organized protest has gathered in Portland, Maine, and right now we are standing on the steps of City Hall. And as you can see around me, I'm assuming this is a crowd of more than 1,000 people, once again dressed in black, as they've been advised to via social media, and their masks as well. And right now we are listening to some of the organizers of this rally speak on the steps of City Hall. In attendance, many of Portland's city leaders, city council members, including Portland Mayor Kate Snyder and Police Chief Frank Clark. And right now you're going to get a closer look at what's happening on the stage right now. This is similar to what we've seen throughout the past several nights, where the beginning of these organized protests, these organizers gather and they take the opportunity to speak, share poetry, share their stories, and various messages with this crowd. So this is just kicking off. People gathered here starting at 4 o'clock. We will, of course, be following this protest as it moves, and we will keep you updated on air and online as things develop. Back to you.
this is about systemic and institutional racism, and it needs to be addressed. So,
So we're still on Facebook Live, so let's get up back closer.
Please listen to them because they deserve to be heard. This is their space. I'm also asking elected officials that are here today if you can come up here, and all the Black officials that are politicians, you can stand right here, and all the way elected officials can stand behind them in solidarity with them. So if any of you want to speak, you can come up and feel free. We're here to support any of you that want to share your stories.
The reason why we call the elected officials and those people that have some type of power in these systems is because they know the feeling of what the brown and black youth are going through. They know these systems, and this is the reason why we want you guys to dismantle the system. And people that are white that are working in the system, it's your responsibility to figure it out and remove it off our heads. We're talking about looters. I'm not talking about looters. I'm not talking about anybody that's causing any destruction. But you have to realize this is the pain of people all over the country, and we don't have responsibility for this. This is the first thing I want to say. We do not, but we do have a responsibility to figure out what's going on so we can come to a clear conclusion. But so I want to pass it off to you.
Any of you want to speak? Any Black person, you want your story to be heard, come up and speak.
I'm sorry I'm not able to speak right now because I've been hardcore protesting yesterday. And now they get But I got some things to say. I heard some things, scary things yesterday. I heard people was getting ARs and walking around the street during the protest yesterday. And that was the biggest scare in my life because I saw my little brother there. And it was not right. It was not right to bring guns to a protest, a peaceful protest, to where our brothers and sisters are supposed to gather around and stand together. And as I see a reverend down there to the floor, and I preached about Christianity to people, I tried to tell everybody, no matter what skin, what you are, what religion you believe in the good book of the Bible, it always say, we are all God's children in his eyes. So we must learn to love and not to hate. We must to love thy neighbors and not hate, no matter what they are. So when we march down, as I look back at me, as I screech and scream and tell everybody to get loud, I see everybody, not black, not white, everyone standing together to make a change, to come to peace and togetherness. We should not be oppressed anymore. As we should stand as united. Because everybody's saying, in individuals, we will fall. But as together, as we stand, we can go through anything we cannot possibly do. Because no matter how big of the dream, how small it is, as long as a dream, we can all think through it. We can all go through it together and make this a terrible, forsaken world into a beautiful, peaceful place for where all people can have fun and live safely on the streets.
Hi, my name's Tamara Fields. I want you to let me get through this, okay, without yelling. So I'm the mother of a black girl and boy. My son is 14. He's dark-skinned. He lives in an almost exclusively white community up north, and he's scared. He calls me every night, asking me to explain to him, what does he do if he gets stopped walking with friends? What does he do if he gets pulled over by the cops? And you know what I tell him? I tell him, you cannot move. You cannot breathe. You can't twitch a muscle. You keep your hands on the steering wheel. You keep your hands in front of you. Don't put your hands in your pocket. And I have to tell him that once every couple months to remind him, because I would like for him to stay alive. Like, that's how I live. I live that every single day. I have a daughter who's very, very light-skinned. She looks white. It's a completely different story for her. Like, less than a millimeter deep of derma determines the difference between her and him and what they experience. So I have a 14-year-old black son, and I don't sleep well. And when he gets a car, I'll sleep even less well. And I feel like the thing that has been missing in my life is that people don't really listen to me. The answer will be like, oh, you know, I have a son. I'm really about my son too. Oh, yeah, I have this thing too. Well, most people don't have to go to bed every night worrying that their son going to Dairy Queen with his friends might not come home. Like, I don't think that's anything to clap about. I think it's sad. I think it's terrifying. And I probably will never rest. And I think that I'm from Chicago, and I talk to my friends a lot. I went back on Facebook just because I needed some shared reality. And what they and I talk about all the time is just listening. Just hear us. Hear our stories. Because it's been a really long time, and we haven't really been able to tell our story in full. And it's pretty heinous. You know, we didn't come here by choice. We're stuck here in a, genocide that continues. What we're looking at here today is modern day lynching. And it's happening all over this country. There's nowhere safe. I want to take my son back to Chicago. It's not safe there either. There's nowhere safe, and he's not alone. There's millions of others like him. There's millions of moms like me who stay up at night, who definitely won't be able to calm ourselves down once these kids are on their own, once they're driving, once they're out in the world, because we know how it is. And frankly, not just black boys, it's black girls, our sons, our daughters, our elderly, everybody has been a victim, whether it be a no-knock search. We get shot, and our lives do matter less to a lot of people, and that's just the truth. Sometimes when I talk to people about this, they back away from me, literally. And I understand it's scary to have to hear, but let me tell you something, it's a lot scarier to have to live. So, thank you for your time.
Oh, by the way, I just want to say one thing about Black Lives Matter. We say Black Lives Matter, and everyone says all lives matter. When your partner comes up to you and says, hey, honey, do you love me? You say, baby, I love everybody. No, particularly right now, Black lives don't matter. In our system, it doesn't matter. So once we make it matter, is when we can have all lives matter.
Up next, we want to have another speaker. She is a city councilor. Her name is Jill Dusan. Welcome.
Can I touch it to pull it down? Okay. Thank you for allowing me to speak and for inviting us to this event. I was just saying to Tamara, I'm not all that comfortable telling my story, at least the deep sides of my story. And her comments helped me put that wall down. So there's a story that I've shared, I think, twice now in my 20 years on council. But I think it's important for you to know, to reaffirm what you know, that the lynching of black folks is not new. And that part of my personal DNA is that I'm not comfortable with breaking down in public either, so I'm going to work through this and be quick. My grandfather's uncle, Zachariah Walker, was the last black man killed by a crowd with, I always think of it as half the city watching, but there were hundreds of people watching as though it were entertainment. And this happened in Pennsylvania, not the Deep South. He was dragged out of jail. He had shot somebody in an altercation. Dragged out of jail by a mob, chained to a fence, and set on fire. And there were pictures of it in the newspaper. No one was ever prosecuted or held accountable. And that story I share because it is...
For everyone who's watching on Facebook Live, we do have to prepare for our 4:30 hit on TV. We have a live interview. Yeah, he's over in the corner here. And then we will go back to listening to this rally. Excuse us, thank you. Maybe we go down the street more? Let's go down the street more so we're not interrupted. Thank you.
Want to go right here?
Yeah. Hey, Blenda, could you go up closer to the stage for Facebook?
I'll try.
Because we're going to do an interview back here.
Okay.
Thank you. Do you mind if I actually just set the scene a little bit and then I'll pull you in? Or if you just stand like right here and all. Perfect. Thank you. Hoping Blenda's getting a better shot of everything that's going on up there.
Brutalized. And if somebody, I didn't wear a watch, it's a moment of silence. And I'm 1 minute, and I'm going to take a nap. And anyone who feels comfortable joining in, please do so.
Hi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shoot. I know.
Thank you all. I have a few more. A few more quick comments to make on behalf of the council and myself. And, but I want to turn the mic back over to those who have put so much energy into getting us all here and organizing us so we can be a part of the response across the nation and all across the world to the murder of Black men. It's personal to see a murder on your television screen of someone who looks very much like your brother. My mind is exploded, my heart is broken. My resilience to pull together to function in this world has been shifted. And I've struggled to get myself back on the ground. I've done so today at the request of my colleagues who want to be here, who want you to know that we're listening, and I have a few words that are about us being accountable for what we need to be accountable for. Protesting the killing, the brutality, the violence against Black people, the murder of Black men by police is not a polite discourse. In my role as a city councilor, I've been witness to this community going through a cycle of violent encounters between our police and Black Portlanders. I've seen the practices of our police department investigated by the Department of Justice. After much very vocal advocating by the members of our Portland NAACP branch. I've seen changes in leadership practices, self-examination, and training, and in some cases, simple turnover that allowed the department to remake itself, adopt community policing principles, and prioritize community engagement. So things have gotten markedly better. Still, Black and brown people are being killed. And don't assume for a moment that it cannot happen here. We need to be vigilant to make sure it doesn't. The council, the manager, the chief, the men and women of the Portland Police Department stand with the community in the commitment to, as the chief said the other day, provide a safe environment for those wishing to peacefully express their views and First Amendment rights. That doesn't mean politely. As promised in the resolution approved by the council on Monday, we will work with the manager and the chief to review and evaluate city policies around use of force and to update practices to assure that we are a city where public expression is welcome. In light of national events, showing up starts by being accountable for what happens in your presence and in your community. And I want to thank all of you for showing up, speaking up, and yes, acting up. We're here today to join you in protest to the killing, murder, and acts of violence by police against Black and brown people. It's that simple.
I don't like wearing this mask, but I have to. We don't want to get sick. What is it called? I want to lead a chant, and you guys can say it after me. So, Black Lives Matter. We're gonna do that. Okay, we're gonna yell out Black Lives Matter. I'm losing my voice, so just scream, everybody. Okay? Okay. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter! 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 Black Lives Matter!
Thank you guys. That means so much to me. Hi, my name is Chantal King, and I'm here to tell you about my experience of what's going on here today. Oh, I'm sorry if I cry. I've had a lot of my white friends DM me and text me, what can I do to help? And I'm going to give you 3 easy steps on how you can help, because here's the fact of the matter. As a Black person, it is not my job to educate you. It is not. It is not. We have been living with the systemic racism for all our lives, so please, if you are an ally, here's what you can do. 1, educate yourself. We have resources for a reason. We have phones, computers, just Google something, please. All the information is out there for you to use. 2, talk about the problem. We've been quiet for so long, our voices have been muted for so long, and I am tired. I am tired of it, so please just start the conversation. Start the dialogue. It is so simple. It is so simple. And 3, just please be kind to each other. At the end of the day, we are all human beings, despite gender, sexuality, creed, nationality, race, color, it doesn't matter.
so many of you, and you guys all can't speak. I really want to centerize Black voice today because the number one thing that elected officials can do are look at the laws that were created in the 60s and 70s that haven't been reversed yet, and start to reverse them. Start to really look at them deeply and bring them out and say, I need to reverse this and this and this. All the legislators, all the elected officials, you're elected for a reason, and now you are governing Black and brown communities. Sophia Khalid, awesome over there. Ayaz, we see all of you guys. Please, that's the best thing you guys can do for us. Who's next?
Hello, my name is Amaryllis. I have lived in the state of Maine for the majority of my life. I have seen terrible stuff happen throughout this state. I have heard horrendous things. I have been there. I have been the person who is being hated upon, and I cannot tell you how empowered I feel to see all of you out here today. I say I am tired a lot, but when I say I am tired of waking up every morning and seeing which Black person was killed today, which white people were not held accountable today. I am tired of being told, but when I talk about police violence, about the discrimination we face, I am tired of going on social media and having people tell me that my voice does not matter. My voice does matter. When I say Black Lives Matter, I mean Black Lives Matter right now. I mean tomorrow, yesterday, the day after.
Look, my name is Nadeem, and I'm just going to be sharing a few words that really was this one small thing. So, I am the small king. I am Black. I am darkening my song, I am happening too wrong. I will be Black as blackness can. The blacker the mantle, the mightier the man. For blackness was ancient ere whiteness began. I am dubbing God in night. I am swabbing hell in white. I am the small king, and I am Black. Thank you.
Hello there, my name is Alexis. I'm here today to just talk about my experience of being a person of color in Maine. I moved to Maine when I was 11 years old from Miami, Florida. The town I moved to was in rural Maine, about 2.5 hours north of here, a small town called Freedom. And the irony of that is that while living there, I did not feel free. Today I want to challenge your concept of freedom. By definition, it is the right to act, think, and speak as one wants without any restraint. You hear this and probably agree. But know that this right doesn't apply to all Americans. It's a tale of two cities, more like the tale of two constitutions. While thinking of what freedom meant to me today, by definition, your right changed yours. Freedom at this time is granted to those who possess power. Systematically, understand what white privilege was until I moved to Maine. My mom is white, my dad is black. I was socialized in a white area. I was socialized by a white woman. And once moving to Maine, this gave me a better idea of what privilege really was. I'm a light-skinned woman and I benefit from white privilege. And I keep speaking out about this on social media and asking white people to challenge their white privilege. You may not know how to do that, but I'm going to explain to you today how I did that. It takes a lot to look in the mirror and say, what about the system that I live in benefits me? I took a lot for granted. Moving up here, it was the first time I had white classmates. And I wanted them to like me. I wanted them to love me. And in the act of doing that, of wanting their approval, of wanting their acceptance, I casted my brown and black brothers to the side, my black and brown brothers and sisters to the side. I allowed them to make jokes. I allowed them to put their idea of what a black person is supposed to be, act, and feel onto me, and I portrayed that. And that is an act of violence against people of color and black people. So when you're challenging your privilege, please take a look at how you benefit. There's more than just being wealthy. There are poor white people who still benefit from white privilege. We cannot have equality without equity. And equity refers to proportional representation in all aspects of our society, which we do not have right now. And in order to gain equity, you need to look into your white privilege, and you need to give up your spot at the table. You need to say, there's enough of me out there, but there's not enough of us out there.
There we go. We're still getting you to whoever wants to speak to make sure that they have the platform. You know, I got a phone call. I'm an organizer with Maine Youth Justice, and we're trying to close down the juvenile facility in South Portland. There are 27 kids left. 27. And people wonder why are you trying to close down that facility? Because I was a kid that was in there. I was in there for 18 months. And I got out. And I was like, why did I get punished for my actions with the circumstances that I was in? Nobody looked at it and said, what's bothering this kid? Rather than giving them the time and locking them up and then giving him a criminal record so he can be marginalized and so he doesn't get housing and he doesn't get jobs and stuff like that. So I started working. I started doing performances all around the state. Then I did a performance at the State House and I talked about this corrupt system. The governor wouldn't come. He didn't want to look at us. But then we went to the White House and we did it there. I'm not doing high school. My bad. The DC, the Senate House of DC, and we did it there. Then we started doing it at schools and whatnot. But now I work in the background. So when I got a phone call and someone told me that there's lots of white police officers in Lewiston Kennedy Park, a lot of them, they were on every street. I didn't make it a race thing, but that's dangerous. That's mad dangerous for all black youth. That's not okay. That is not okay.
can no longer accept polite statements from white politicians, corporations, agencies about the inhumane way the murder of African Americans makes them feel when they go on to work each and every day to uphold a system that benefits themselves and perpetuates their own success. We can no longer take statements if you think that that is the way that you build a relationship with our communities. We can no longer take your statements if you think that that is the only action that is needed to stop the brutal violence, the genocide against African Americans that have been waged against us since you stole this land from the indigenous native people. We no longer want your statements if you release it on Facebook, but you never give it any voice when you're speaking to the Chamber of Commerce. You can keep your statement if that means you can ignore me in the hallways of the workplace, that you can ignore my kids in your schools, that you cannot have a curriculum that best reflects the history of this country and the enslavement in which your economy was built.
Yeah!
Keep your statement if it's being used to silence and to kill and murder and arrest and detain the people that you owe your very lives to. But put out your statement if it reveals the truth that you live by and expresses the way that you will be held accountable in all of your actions to end racism and xenophobia and Islamophobia. If that statement reveals your truth of how you will become accountable, how you will be held to a standard that allows us to vote you out of office, then release your statement. Use your voice to speak what you are going to do to stop voter suppression, to stop gentrification, to stop the elimination of racial and health disparities, and to stop mass incarceration. Use your statement for that. Data that was just released by the Centers for Disease Control show that the new infection rate for Black African Americans in Maine is 22.5% of the total for whom race is known, 22.53% of the infection is Black African American. Last week, it was 20.7. You can do the math. The rate for people of color is now 27.45%. Last week, it was 25%. Now, well over 1 in 4 people who have COVID in Maine is a person of color, even when there are only 1 in 20 Mainers a person of color. Well over 1 in 5 people who have COVID in Maine is Black. I'll say that again. Well over 1 in 5 people who have COVID in Maine is Black, even though only 1 in 60 Mainers are Black. So if you are here tonight, if you have to write a statement right now, send it to the governor, send it to the Speaker of the House,
my babies. Because they are strong, they will be educated, and they will be aware. I will fight for you, Gianna. I will fight for you, my son. I will fight for every single one that does not have a voice. Hey, Steve, you stand behind me, damn it. Alright? I love you, my kings and queens. Let's not be silent. Let's keep it peaceful. Gianna, what are you proud of me? What are you proud of me, Gigi? What are you proud of me? There are a lot of people there. Damn. Hey y'all, Cassie. I grew up in Cape Elizabeth, very white town. I grew up not knowing how to be black. And it wasn't until as a 30-year-old college student learning in my sociology class about W.E.B. Du Bois and double consciousness that the feelings that I had growing up, not knowing who I'm supposed to be because I grew up with white people who expect me to be a certain way, that's normal. I was not the only one that felt that way, and I didn't know until I was 30 years old. My husband is overseas right now, in the Middle East fighting. He's in the military. Can't really see the stuff going on over here, so I try to fill him in as much as possible. And the other day he said to me that he feels sorry that he can't be here for me, and he feels sorry for everything that's going on. He's the one in the military fighting. He feels bad for us and everything that we're going through. I was nervous too. I have 3 kids. My boys are almost 11 and 6. And I was nervous to show them some of the videos that I've been watching, but I decided to do it anyways. And at the end of the videos, my 6-year-old looked up at me and said, "Mommy, I don't want to be shot by the cops." At that moment, I decided that I'm never going to stop talking. I'm never going to stop fighting. So when you see me on Facebook arguing my point and telling you how important our lives are, I'm done being polite. I'm gonna speak up for my husband, and I'm gonna speak up for my kids, and we're not gonna stop.
Black youth, y'all want to speak, y'all let me know, please.
Hi. So I want to give my speech. I can't even believe Black people are here today to tell people to stop murdering us. That is unbelievable. That is crazy. Black people have been struggling since the first slave ships arrived in the United States. That is crazy. There should be a change by now. But this is a systemic and institutional issue that needs to be addressed. I came to this country when I was 7 years old after living in a refugee camp. And people always told me, this is the greatest country in the world. I don't believe that right now. Every day I wake up to videos of Black people being murdered by the police. I'm training young Black boys on what to do if the police stops them. I have to train my 6-year-old nephew on what to do. That is crazy. But that's the kind of fear Black people are living in. My nephew, a week ago, he drew a picture of an officer killing a Black person. My niece, she drew a picture of George Floyd's mother, and she drew an crying. She didn't even see the video. She heard about it. That is crazy. That is so horrific. Every single Black people being murdered. Sometimes things within your own community. We literally have a president who's literally treating people that look differently, like me, a Muslim person, immigrants, black. He's literally telling people to be discriminatory towards others. He literally said, shoot the people that are breaking into stores. That's not acceptable. We should understand why people are doing this and to try to resolve that. I want peace. I want peace. I am all about peace. I literally studied Dr. King's principle, civil disobedience. I agree with that. Black people, take a knee right now, you guys. Take a knee. Take a knee. Everybody take a knee, please. When Colin Kaepernick, when he did this, what did they do? They kicked him out of the NFL. He was protesting against police brutality, and they kicked him out of the NFL. Whatever way we protest, people have a problem with it. That's why people are rioting right now. But what can we do to resolve these issues? We must all come together. Literally, we have to all come together. We have to acknowledge that white privilege does exist. White people, you have privilege. You don't get stopped at a traffic stop because you're white and you don't fear for your safety. Black people do. You can walk in the street and you're not afraid of a white person saying, oh, well, he might threaten me. You can jog without fearing for your life. Ahmaud Arbery, he was literally murdered 3 months ago, and those officers were just held accountable. Because you know why the police arrested him? Because we saw the video. They knew it. We can't jog. We can't have barbecues without the police being called on us. We have Karens that pull out their phone, 911, I'm being threatened by a black person when a black person is just at a park asking them to put their dog on a leash. You guys remember what happened in New York a few weeks ago? A woman literally pretending like a black man was threatening her safety? That's the kind of people we should be calling out. Like human beings. Black kids, they deserve to have a future without fearing for their safety. I deserve, as a former refugee, to feel safe in this country. Literally, every day I'm literally at the front line trying to advocate for my people because they're being murdered every single day. This isn't a good life. This is not the American dream that I wanted to come to America and live. This isn't the American dream. This is like a life full of trauma in the US. I'm sick and tired of it. I have family members still living in the refugee camp. They don't even know if they want to come here anymore because they kept seeing all these news feeds about a black person being murdered. Do you guys want people from other countries to come here and feel safe? The world is literally laughing at America right now. That is embarrassing. We need to come together and fix these issues. This isn't just about Portland Police, South Portland, all these officers. This is about a systemic and institutional issue that needs to be addressed, and I keep saying that. White people, please acknowledge your privilege. Please when you're at the Thanksgiving dinner, enjoying that turkey, that pie, one of your family members are probably racist. They probably voted for Trump, and they're like, well, all lives matter. Well, if all lives matter, I wouldn't be here today. All lives matter. If all lives matter, then black people wouldn't be murdered because of the color of your skin. All lives will not matter until Black Lives Matter.
those of you asking, I do not know the name of this speaker. At this point, protest organizers have asked this crowd if any young people of color would like to come up and say some words, and this is one of those, one of the people who stepped up to
We
speak.
are literally being told to shut up for protesting peacefully. Of course, people are going to start rioting, and we have to resolve that issue and why this is happening. Dr. King said, rioting is the voice of the unheard. So, I'm asking you guys, if you want people to stop, first of all, like some people say it's a revolution, and I agree. It's the beginning of a revolution. I want peace. I want peace. But we have been protesting peacefully, and that hasn't solved anything. So this is why people are going in the street doing these things. We want peace. We want to protest peacefully. So address the issue and help these people listen to them. And they will stop doing what they're doing. They will stop rioting. They will stop protesting on the streets every day if we address the real issues and if we say we're going to resolve it. That's when people will stop protesting. I'm sorry if I'm like speaking a lot, but I just have been keeping my anger for so long that literally sometimes I just cry out of nowhere because this is just so messed up. It's so messed up that I even have to be here as a black woman in front of all of you today and having to tell you guys to stop murdering our brothers and sisters. That is not acceptable. We all deserve to be treated like human beings. I think that every politician in this room today, you guys need to put out a statement to tell people where you stand and if you support us or not. Our voices. I want you to try to understand where we're coming from and why we are on the streets every day protesting. I need you guys to understand that, and I need you to make a commitment that you will stand in solidarity with black people around this country. And if you are a police officer and you have racist views and all that stuff, you should probably take a training about implicit bias, because your racism can literally end someone's life. I want my nieces and nephews to not have to draw a picture of a police officer murdering a black person. I don't want my niece that's 5 years old drawing a picture of a mother crying because her son got murdered. That is not okay. I don't want that. We all deserve to be treated like human beings. Every black person in this room, I mean not in this room, in this space, I want you to know that we matter, and we will, you're beautiful, you're black, you're beautiful. We will stand together, we will get through this, and we will fight for justice. That being said, and thank you guys so much, all of you, for coming and for standing in solidarity with all of us. I wanna start a chant, if you don't mind. And yeah, you guys can just repeat it after me. Should I? What other ones should I chant? What other ones? Huh? Oh, you know, we're first of all, we want to practice social distancing today. Literally, black people are dying more than white people due to the virus, and literally, like, my mom the other day, she was like, racism is coronavirus. Literally, it's this, like, there's a virus of racism in this country. That's what she said. We do have a pandemic about racism in this country that needs to be addressed. And my mom, you know, she sees videos of black people being murdered every day, and she's like, how can we live in this country if people are being murdered every single day when we just want to live that American dream? Should we move to a new country? And I tell her every single day, things are gonna get better, just have hopes. Because my mom, she saw a war. She saw a war. She fled from her country because of a war. And now she's like in this country seeing black people getting murdered. She saw people fighting because of tribalism. So she doesn't want people to be discriminated and due to their skin color, background, religion, wherever they're from. So she's calling racism a virus for now. What is it called? I want to lead a chant. Rachel, which one did you say?
All right.
Which one? What racism is a public health crisis? Okay. It is though, it is literally.
It's a mouthful.
It is. So racism, I don't think that chant has ever been made. Huh? The fact that black people are dealing with the coronavirus in this country, a lot of people are dealing with it, and then on top of racism, that's even
We
more
gotta hit the
stress to deal
5:30,
with,
right?
Yeah,
literally.
I just want to set the.
So
we're still on Facebook, so I just wanna
racism
set
is
the
a
stage
public
really
health
quickly. Tell everyone
crisis.
what's going on. Is it okay?
We're gonna say that, okay?
Hi everyone, Newsome
Racism
and
is
Janine.
a
For
public
those of you who are
health
just joining us, this rally started at 4 o'clock. We're standing in front of the steps of Portland City Hall. Organizers initially spoke to this crowd. Some of the Portland City Councilors spoke with this crowd. And then the organizers asked the crowd, they said, are any young people of color here who would like to speak? This is one of the women who stood up to speak. After that, we expect that this large crowd, I estimate around 2,000 people, will begin to march after the organizers are finished speaking here.
That the other 3 officers that also murdered George Floyd were charged. They should have arrested those officers the first day. That's what I believe. And you know what? The man that killed Trayvon Martin, he was arrested, but he wasn't convicted. We don't want distant arrest, we want convictions. Hold every racist person who has murdered a black person accountable. That goes for the man that murdered Sandra Bland, the man that murdered, the 2 men that murdered Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, every black person that has been murdered by a racist, they deserve justice. That being said, I think I talked a lot, so I'm gonna give the mic to someone else. Thank you.
Hello? So guys, I know that we're trying to make sure we centerize all black youth, but there's one statement that that this police officer wants to say, okay?
Thank you very much. My name is Janine Roberts. I'm going to tear up on this. I am born and raised here in Portland. I'm the chief of police in the city of Westbrook, Maine. I served in the city of Portland for 29 years. I'm asking to speak in front of you today to be accountable for something I said earlier today, right here in front of City Hall, when there were a different group here, much smaller, but leaders of our law enforcement community across Cumberland County and across the state, with a press conference trying to let you, our public, our black and brown community members, know that we try, we're here, we want to work with you. What I want to be accountable for is I really screwed up. And Jill, thanks for saying the F-bomb first, I appreciate that. I screwed up in that my last sentence was Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, all lives matter, I say every life matters. That is not what the purpose of this rally, the intention with all of the civil unrest. That I wanted to correct myself. I want to stand here in front of all of you. I've already created a video through the city of Westbrook to put it out as a press release. Representative Talbot Ross talked about us leaders and putting actions, I'm summarizing my words, putting actions behind our words. I want to apologize to all our black and brown community members, not just here locally, but nationally. I agree that I need to educate myself, and I need to continue to do that. And I thank you for partnering with me, and continue to partner with me. Please, I do not deserve the applause. You deserve the applause. Thank you very much, and be safe.
That was Westbrook Chief of Police Janine Roberts correcting a statement she made earlier today among officers at a press conference that they held around 11 o'clock today on Portland City Hall steps. And I believe one more young speaker is going to address the crowd.
Good afternoon. I'm Javier Botan. I'm the superintendent of the Portland Public Schools. And I'm here today to thank
How you doing? Where's your
all of
5:30
you
hit?
for being here to say loud and clear that Black Lives Matter. A young friend who just spoke before me said everything that I need to say, which is that as a school system, as an American school system, as the Portland Public School System, we are sorely lacking in our willingness to confront the reality that we are a racist institution at the core. As I started reflecting on everything that was happening across the country, I had that dreaded feeling that I needed to write a statement. I am so tired of writing statements. I'm so tired of reading statements written by people like me. I couldn't think, what would I say this time? So I decided to say two things. One, how profoundly ashamed I am as a leader in this school system that 4 years after being here, we still have twice as many black children being disciplined than white children in the school system. I'm profoundly ashamed of the little progress that we've made to decolonize our curriculum and privilege the voices of those who are marginalized and underrepresented. So that was one thing that I said. And then the second thing that I said is I called on all of my colleagues in the school system, my colleague administrators, my board members, our teachers, everyone in our school system to pledge themselves to look at our black students and our few black staff and say to them with conviction, Black Lives Matter.
Been called the N-word. That doesn't feel good at all. My name is Luke Bloomstein, and I am angry. I am fucking terrified. And
Hi, Lee. Yes, this all started at 4 o'clock this afternoon with, I'm estimating, around 2,000 people gathered in front of Portland City Hall once again for the fourth consecutive night, dressed in black, to take to the streets and protest here in Portland. Now, right now, what we're hearing is various speakers come up on the stage here. Most of them are organizers of this protest, but we have also heard from some of Portland City Council. You can see right there at the top of the steps, Portland City Council is represented, including Portland Mayor Kate Snyder. And what we just heard was pretty remarkable. It was Westbrook Police Chief Janine Roberts who got up on stage and she corrected a statement she made earlier in the day at a press conference with local police officials. In that statement, she said, Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter. Well, just moments ago, we heard her get up on this stage and say that she wants to retract that statement, to change that statement, because that statement is not what she now believes and understands is in the spirit of this protest. So that was pretty remarkable to witness. Now, we are live on Facebook right now, and we will continue to stay with this protest. We again expect this to turn into a march, as it has the past 3 nights, but we will stay live with you on Facebook throughout the entirety of this. Live in Portland, Hannah Deneen, New Center, Maine.
Fearing that somebody is gonna kill me. That's not an okay way to live at all. And I'm not okay with this violence going on any longer. This shit needs to stop. It needs to stop now. stops now. Thank you.
Hello. My name's Deontay Campbell. I was born and raised in Jamaica, and my parents moved me here when I was 10 years old. Right now I'm 17. Moving from a place where Jamaica, where a motto is honor many more people, meaning you look at that motto and you see, oh, I'm beautiful because I'm on it, to a place in America where you're judged because of the color of your skin. I decided that this is a good opportunity for me in Mexico because my school is very racist. I go to Stanford High School, a bunch of white people. I look like a flying nub every single time I take pictures. So I made this little, I was gonna email him a little tiny email, just saying the things that we need to change about our school. But it just got into so much, I feel like they told me to write a book. As a 17-year-old, I've had many racist incidents at my school. And in 8th grade, I was sitting in class. I was not educated about the history of the word nigger. I did not know what the definition meant when I came here. Because in Jamaica, at our age, we didn't have a reason to teach kids that. Because we knew it was never gonna be used against us when we were older. So, 17 years old, a couple of months ago was the first time I ever took class like this that got me.
I just can't go for 4 hours.
If I did not take that class, the history class, Mr. Kane, that's my teacher. Michael Kane at Stanford High School is my teacher. If I did not take that class, I would not know how to defend myself right now. If a white person came up to say, oh, you're a nigger, I would not know how to do that. And I don't know, I'm just happy that everyone came here together. My friends are probably in the crowd. Wait, who's from Stanford? Wait. But all I'm trying to say is, let's just let our voices be heard today, you know? Let's turn it up. All the way to the front, and for a chant, I want to be like, we will rock you, you know what I'm saying? You like that one? You like that one? Yeah. Does everyone know it? Yeah. We will rock you. Rock you. We will rock you. Rock you. We will rock you. Rock you. We will rock you. Rock you.
The reason why we're doing this is because on TV, they're showing black people being killed. So now we're giving them the voice.
My name's Deontay, by the way. Deontay Campbell. I go to Stanford High School, 17 from Jamaica.
So we just heard this speaker tell us that she's 17 years old. And this is something I've been talking about all week. This is a protest, and the organizers of this protest are a very young group of people, teenagers or early 20s, and that is also the age range that has made up a large amount of this protest.
Black Lives Matter is not a controversial statement. If you think enjoy black music and profit off of black athletes, but think Black Lives Matter is controversial.
food, enjoy ethnic restaurants, and be silent today. All that matters is a protest against our protest, and the fact that people can't understand that is terrifying. There is no way you can say all lives matter and then find Black Matters offensive. That should be included in your cause. Call out your friends on Snapchat who say the N-word, your friends who rap, your friends on SoundCloud, your friends who enjoy Black culture, your friends who date Black men but hate Black women, Black men who put Black women down.
And since we're doing call-outs, I'd like to call out Texas High School in Upland, Northern Maine, for making a hateful post about me wrestling at the senior state championships. For that, they could call me a nigger and all I got shit on that post. Cause at the end of the day, I still went to states and still win that bitch.
I know you guys have been standing here for a little while, and we really appreciate you. But I wish we didn't have to be here. I really do. So for the police officers that are out here, it's not okay to be, we don't want you to be polluted in Black communities. It's crazy. We don't want that. We want to build our communities. People are getting arrested at high rates. 1 in every 3 Black men will be going to jail, and 1 in every 17 white men. That's crazy. When every race commits crimes at the same rate, but Black people get arrested heavily. Heavily. On the 13th Amendment, it says, slavery is abolished except through imprisonment. Except through imprisonment. So once you commit a crime, or you are accused of committing a crime, you are a slave. Again. That is not okay. We need to look at our laws. That is not okay. All right, so I just wanted to, before we wrap up and do all this by 6 o'clock, I wanted to share one of my poems that I wrote. I write poems that really talk about the system itself, but this one I was really angry about something, and a lot of my friends were passing away. A lot of kids I grew up with, they're not around right now. You don't see a lot of Black men about my age around here in Portland. A lot of them got deported, a lot of them got 10 to 20 years in life, and it's messed up. They don't kill you just by guns and strangling. The system kills you. Like, it kills your life. You get addicted to drugs. You get addicted to things that you see that's around your area. It's crazy, man. We don't want to live like this. The system created it like that. The redlining stuff, it's real. Yeah. There's highways that divide the rich area and the poor areas. Look at Kennedy Park. There's a highway, and then there's North Geary. Anyways, here we go. The system is built to structure a game, a concept of blame on one's actions to shame, to get what they want from man to flame, and fuel this ongoing chain of sequence. It's business. As soon as someone says you did it, you're finished. No ifs, ands, or buts, it's written. Going through an adequate process of innocent until proven guilty. It's inadequate, it's lawless, it's a movement that's so filthy. You're lied to before and after that courtroom. From the lawyer of the day that was fed with a silver spoon, to the judge that was taught in classrooms with forefathers that had slaves called coons. As soon as you feel that metal on, you're doomed. It's a power strike from them upon to you. Now you hear your daughter's voice on the phone saying, come home. You're in your cell, sad, cold, and all alone. That emotional abuse shot right to the dome. As you hear the screams of displeasure, and not alone. See, they want you to admit to shit that's set on the script from a team of cops that sit and choose you from a list. Oh, he said this and your description may fit, so they make it look guaranteed to pay with they're innocent. Why lock them up in a cage until proven otherwise? The circumstances tell me different, so please justify. Locked from wrists to ankles, kind of like the slaves where they were told to walk on the ship in shackles. No options to walk on the plank though, only the strong survive while being strangled. Kind of like the depths in prisons, so dismantled. Or when cops kill black as we run scrambled, singing songs while we hold the lit candles. But we protest wrong, so we get handled. We're brainwashed. I don't listen to what we're taught, cause poison has been filled through earshot. From a slave master to a badge and a gun, from a runaway slave to fleeing and run. I was always taught that white men love to hunt, but never imagined killing just for fun. Is it a hobby? Kind of like selling slaves to the auctions in the lobby, or how the bails and the bonds be. They take you from your home, they take you from your job, they take you from your community, they take you for their cause. We ask them to ponder, to realize their flaws, but the fear of the system have them sitting in awe. That's why depression is so high in America. Because your brains are eating at you with terror, huh? 2.5 million are locked up in this country. That's 35% of the world, man. How funny. They say you broke the law thinking you're a dummy. It's illegal to breathe wrong if you don't got money. But we're stationed. We got 5 million people on probation. That's 66% of the world that is enslaved in right here on our very pavement. Land of the brave. Well, I call it the land of shame. Disgrace that I feel like I represented a land of pain. Always thought there was going to be a hope for change. But I come to find out history is just the same. We are murderers, deceivers, and greed is our potion. We strip the good away from people with one swift motion. Never taking place for ourselves is just constant excuses. While the facts were on the table, you still feel clueless? Look at our history and discover what extent of wonders we choose for power to come under. From annihilating the natives, to inhabiting the slaves in, creating spaces for immigrant nations just to sneak information. Hiroshima's Masons with Nagasaki's inflation. Middle Eastern invasions to drug infestations to decrease our population. History explained and our actions made. We are what we do. And until I see change, you are the ones to blame.
That was the best poem that I've ever listened to. So we have to wrap up soon, but I just want to say a few last words. One of my professors, I went to USM, and I had a professor named Leroy. He was one of the best professors I've had because he was the only black teacher that I've ever had in my entire life. When I came to this country, I was 7, so I had white teachers until college, but he was the only black teacher that I had. And I took a class, it was about African American and the slavery. And in the class, you know, we were talking about how many people were lynched since slavery and during the civil rights movement. And I was like, so basically, black people are not being lynched, but the new lynching is using a gun and chokeholding black people. That is the new form of lynching that we are seeing. And I feel like every single day when we see these horrific videos of black people being murdered, we ask ourselves, what can we do? First of all, if you see a black person being stopped by the police, stay with them, and be an ally. Report everything that is happening because a lot of officers are doing the wrong things, and sometimes those incidents are not recorded and they go unnoticed, so we don't know about it. Ahmaud Arbery, the reason why those 2 white supremacists were arrested is because we saw the video. So we always need people to record, to stand with black people, to stand with minorities, to stand with immigrants, and show your solidarity. continue fighting for my family, fighting for my little nephew who drew a picture of a police officer killing a black person and him writing on the poster, "Black live longer." What he meant is he wants black people to live longer. On the poster, he wrote, "Don't kill him." We were just talking about the incident and he took that and drew it out his emotion. What I know is that I will continue to support my nephews, my black brothers, my black sisters, to make sure that they feel supported. I will be on the streets protesting for them. If they can't be by my side, I will do everything that I can to fight for justice and for equality for our people, because we deserve it. And we're not even asking anymore, we are demanding. I used to say, wow, this is the new norm, this is what our people have to go through, but after today, I'm gonna fight till the end to make sure this does not happen again. I will not normalize this kind of behavior. I will not continue to be a part of those who continue to normalize this kind of behavior. It's unacceptable, and I want every black child, every black person in this country to feel safe, to live without trauma, and to be treated like human beings with respect and dignity. That being said, I just want to say thank you to all of you for showing up, to all the white people in this room. Thank you for coming, but we also need your allyship after today, not just when the protest ends. We need you to show up. We need you to stand by the black people, minorities, immigrants, the kids that are sitting in a cage in detention centers. We need you to advocate for them. We need you to write to your senator. We need you to write to your representative to ask them, what are you doing to make changes for black people in this country, for minorities? Write a letter tonight. Tell them that if they continue to stay silent, we will not elect them. Nobody, I know for a fact that any politician that does not write out a statement about what is happening in this country and that does not stand in solidarity with black people, they are not getting my vote. This to be a peaceful protest, and I am asking everyone after this protest to go home, to talk to your families about what we talked about today, and to just really think about how you can create changes within your own community. So we're gonna do a chant, and then I will wrap it up, and everybody go home. Go home, be safe, and let's work together to fix our community, and let's make things better for black people in this country. Oh, one more person? Two? Huh? Yeah, okay, two more speakers, and then I will do the chant at the end. We're here to listen to black youth, so we will take up as much time.
Oh, well, we got a 6.
Hi, Maine. My name is Chartreuse Money. Of color in the drag queen scene here in Maine. in Portland. I'm often told by my fellow drag community what to wear, how to do my makeup, how to wear my hair, what to say, what songs to do, what songs to not do. And honey, I am tired. I am a result of white privilege. I went to Chevres High School. Chevres High School, a school that is made up of the majority by white people. I could name every black and brown person on my fucking hand. And I was still silenced by the majority. To use this platform, I am thankful. But I ask during Pride 2020, as that flag hangs above me, white gay people, wake the fuck up! For marriage equality and do the least by posting a black square on Instagram. Shame on you! How dare you take up black spaces and forget that it was black trans women who threw the first freaking stonewall? And honestly, I can't tell you why, but I wonder, thanks baby, I wonder, where are my white drag queen sisters? Where are you? Where? I don't see you. I don't see you using your platform. This is a platform. I stand here in front of you, in front of our elected officials. Where the fuck are you? As an educator, I have the privilege of working with young people in this state of Maine. I work with white people, black people, brown people, Chinese people, other Asian people. I work with them all, honey, and let me tell you something. Until these children have equal representation within the institutions which they are forced to be a part of and learn from, until these children are learning the stories of Marsha P. Johnson, are learning the stories of black history and brown history, why we called it the Spanish flu, until these young people who look to people like me for guidance can feel safe and know that they're growing up in a world that is full of empathy and compassion and equality. No one is free. And now, elected officials, I'll leave you with two things. A demand. Isn't that cute? Where's the Black Lives Matter flag hanging up there?
You don't have to go too long once you start. Oh, okay.
Has overcome, but we can't stay silent when the majority of America is silenced and murdered and executed on our streets every single day. So I'll leave you with this. If you know who I am, you know that I go by the Duchess of Pasco Bay because, honey, I came over on the ferry this morning to be here. So as I sat last night, as I sat at my white adoptive parents' homes on the island, and I heard the noise and weird explosion-y sounds coming from across the still, silent bays, echoing off of the quiet homes of the privileged elite sitting on Pasco Bay on the islands. I wrote a song, and I'd like to share it with you. It's called America Reimagined.
No, they're taking Blender's shot for the podium.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for anyone that's white, for darkened White House vacancies, hide racist from the till Black lives have equality.
Hi, Cindy. Yes, we are here among a gathering for the fourth consecutive night in downtown Portland. This protest started at 4 o'clock in front of the steps, you can see, of Portland City Hall. And what we've been seeing is various protest organizers get up and share stories. I don't know if you just heard that. Some music, some poetry. We've also heard from some members of Portland City Council and the Westbrook Police Chief, Janine Roberts. Now, this is expected to wrap up fairly soon, running until 6 o'clock. Of course, for the last 2 nights, what we saw was this protest extend beyond what organizers expected, as they expected it to wrap up earlier in the night. So, of course, we will stay on this live. We are live on Facebook as well as our app and on Twitter, and we'll be able to bring you all the latest on social media and then on air at 11. Live in Portland, Hannah, Deneen, Pat, back to you.
No, that's fear. That's tired. So please, particularly the schools, we need more mental health clinics. We need to fix our mental health. And then for white people, there's an automatic, this bias thing that we have it, black people have it. We look at each other as aggressive. I have to retrain my brain sometimes and say, yo, I'm doing something wrong. It's messed up how this is implemented into our brains. We're brainwashed. So please try to be like, okay, I'm talking. Let me look at this person, as a human being, as an innocent human being, and then approach them. And this is for every police officer. Police officers, there is a job you cannot neglect. You don't have bad pilots. You don't have bad surgeons. We do not need bad police officers. I'm serious. That's serious. That's not a job that we take lightly. All right, I'm going to wrap that up. Thank you.
Everything up. My niece wants me to read this. She's 14. She can't be here today, but she wants, this is for a message for the people that say all lives matter, and she wants me to read it. And then I'll wrap it up. So she this was, I'm not even gonna say what school she goes to and stuff, because I don't wanna put her information out there, but this is what she said. I'm gonna share my quick thought on this. I don't care whoever gets offended whatsoever. To start off, I would like to say there's a prime issue to saying all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter. Of course, all lives matter. But it is used as a statement to diminish Black issues, which is not exceptional. The purpose of Black Lives Matter movement isn't to exclude anyone, but to genuinely emphasize the lack of attention brought to the systemic racism and violence against Black people that are facing today. By having the audacity to say all lives matter, in response to Black Lives Matter, you are saying that Black people do not matter, and you are silencing Black people. We want to matter to be as significant and important. That's what she said. Wait, let me read that again. We want to matter to be important, significant, and consequent. But there is no way valuing the lives of Black people in America and the global diaspora means we are devaluing the lives of anyone else. Black Lives Matter. That being said, let's wrap it up. We're gonna chant and everybody go home. Do what you gotta do, but go home peacefully. Thank you. Black Lives Matter. 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 Black Lives Matter! 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 Thank you guys. So, wrap things up, and thank you guys so much for coming today. Follow the event page. I'm going to be posting action plans for the next step. So just go on it tonight and look at what we posted on the page. Thank you.
Absolutely. Let's go to the Yeah.
You can go back to them.
Oh yeah, no, come on. Yes, yeah.
I don't know.
What is your name?
My name is Rachel Talbot Ross.
Excuse me. Is it hyphenated?
No, 3 separate words.
What are your thoughts about the message tonight?
Well, the message tonight has been consistent for the last 400 years that African Americans have been in this country, and for the 200 or 300 years that they were here before they were enslaved. So our message has always been that we are full human beings, even though the Constitution of the United States did not indicate that. And we are no longer your product in which you can sell or trade or kill or malign. The message has always been clear, and that is that we have helped build this state, we have helped build this nation, and we have helped build the world. Yet we are still being murdered publicly, in public, at the hands of police. We were lynched. This message has not changed. This message is living history. And so I believe that that was what you heard today.
Do you think this will be an end of it? So the first question is,
I do not think that this will be an end to it, but what it demands is as many marches and rallies. We need that many strategies. As many as marches and rallies, we need that many times at the State House, in every single city hall and town office, for a discussion about the inequities that are based on race, in which African Americans suffer generationally the worst. If we can come out of this in a way for the state that we start to look at those disparities and we pass not one more law, not one more policy in this state that furthers those disparities, if we can have the governor of the state of Maine not issue a statement on Facebook, but to have those words come out of her mouth, if we can have our elected officials in state government stop hiding behind social media. Where are you today? Where are you? Where are you today, right now? We need leadership in this state that recognizes their responsibility, not just to me, but to you too. Those health disparities that we're living under with COVID, they have been here for generations. The education disparities, our wealth gap, our wage gap, they have been present under Democrats and Republicans. This is not just one political party's issue. This is not just one people's issue. This is our issue of our time. And it's time that the people who represent us and say all lives matter, all Mainers matter, it's time that we hear from them.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you so much.
That's all I got.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that was good.
And I will be elected on Sorry. I'm a state rep.
Which district do you represent?
I'm sorry?
Which district?
I represent House District 40, which is Bayside, Parkside, East Bayside, USM. We have the highest racial and ethnic population in the state, and we have one of the poorest populations.
Thank you for taking the time
Sorry
to speak
about
with
that.
us.
I'm sorry if that wasn't what you would.
No, you did great. That was good, Rachel. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know if we needed it. It seems so good.
Rachel, thanks for your help. I appreciate it.
I know.
I saw the mayor leave. Well, I don't know. How about the organizer? Do you want her? I mean, I can't believe that there's not going to be more things tonight, but just in case we have to.
Who's the organizer? You are? Talk to you? I'm so sorry. Yes.
I was going to put a little light on Michael.
Yeah. Come over here. She wants to come over here, guys.
I haven't seen him yet. I saw her a moment ago.
You want to stand over here in the middle?
Do I have a face mark on me from the mask?
No,
Okay, good.
So,
Can you come a little closer to us?
Yeah.
just saying your name and spelling it.
My name is Hamdia Ahmed, Hamdia, last name Ahmed.
You organized this today.
Yes, along with my other friend.
How did it meet your expectations? What do you think?
Yes, this was a peaceful protest. We got our message across. We centered the voices of Black youths, and it was very great.
What do you think about the message tonight? What is the message tonight, you feel like?
We want everybody to stand in solidarity with Black people. We are sick and tired of waking up to police murdering Black people, and we don't want to see that happen again and again. We want to make it change. And we need white people to stand with us to fight against white supremacy.
As people were leaving tonight, you were urging them to do one thing, and that was to go home. Do you mind repeating that message for us?
I want all the protesters to go home. I want this to end peacefully, and I want them to follow an action plan that they can use to create changes in their own community.
What is that?
By calling their representative, by standing in solidarity with black people, with minorities, and just speaking up against injustice within their own community.
Do you mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 22.
You're 22.
Yeah.
This has been a movement. We've seen a lot of young people. Has that surprised you?
No, we have been in the front lines. I have been protesting for many times when a black person was murdered by the police. So this isn't just the first time we have come together.
Do you feel like there are inequities here in Maine?
Oh, definitely, definitely. We have a lot of youths that are incarcerated who are black. We have systemic and institutional racism within the state of Maine. That is something that we need to address.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. That's wonderful.
I need to wear my mask.
You don't know me probably, but I've lived in Portland 54 times. I know you've been around a long time. But I want to apologize to you because I think that I judged you.
I lost sight of Mary.
Hearing you speak today, I apologize that I think I made judgments.
I think she left it. I really do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
excuse me, are you one of the organizers? Yes, you are. I know you barely have a voice, but do you mind taking a moment to speak for us?
Can you talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll hold this close to you. Do you mind first by just saying your name and spelling it for us?
Oh, sorry, Anthony. Cyanthony.
Well, you really don't have a voice at all. Are you able to speak up at all?
I'm gonna just get right here.
It's okay, I can hang on to it. Usually it's better audio.
Well, yeah, like I said, yeah, Anthony Moss, Zyanthony, MOSSS.
How old are you?
19.
19. So the other protest leader, she's 22. This has been a movement led by young people. What do you make of that?
I mean, really, we're just really trying to fight for the future for us and for the future of everybody else to live safely and not to be oppressed, not to be discriminated, just live as a community, as one, and as a unity. We're just trying to make sure we don't, when we grow up and we have kids or anything in the future, we don't have to worry about one person getting shot or one person get falsely accused of something just based off how they will act because of their skin or how they freaking believe or anything. It doesn't matter about that. And that's what happened yesterday, because yesterday, I pretty much blew out my voice yesterday. But I had to tell people, this is not the way. This is not the way for a peaceful protest. You're just creating war, chaos, and we don't need that much right now. We're just
referring to what happened later in the
yes. We're just trying to make sure we make it every peaceful, because right now it's like all eyes are on us. We're making a voice. We gotta make sure we just look good in the cameras, because whatever we're doing, it may look and reflect us as what they label us as animals and thugs. And we're not all animals and thugs. We're just all human beings. We're just trying to make life simpler. And then we got like all these people making it so hard for us to live. And I just decided to come here to fight. Because when I have kids and stuff like that, when I become a father, I want my kids to live safely and be friends with as many kids as they want, not being judged about how they are.
Do you feel that, you had the entirety of Portland City Council here earlier today. Law enforcement responded to the protest. Do you feel like your message is being listened to and received, like conversation has started?
Yes, ma'am, because it all happened yesterday, early afternoon. I had to talk to the state representative, Scott Storm. We both talked. He's trying to set up a meeting with me and my organizers, leaders, as we say. we're trying to make a meeting, trying to see so we can actually get the state representatives, get the governor involved too, so we can spread our word out in a peaceful manner so we don't have to create too much violence. We already heard too much about violence happening since protests, people bringing ARs. I already had my brother last night, went there, and I didn't know he was in there. But he brought it, and some people, 4 people, brought ARs to a peaceful protest. And that's good. No, it wasn't protesters. It was just these guys in red coats coming out with ARs. And I was scared to death because it was my brother in there. And I can actually also relate to George Floyd when her son is dying. If that would have just escalated, I don't even know if my brother would have got shot. I don't know if he would have got shot.
So do you feel like you're being heard by your state representatives and your city leaders?
Yes, ma'am. He wants me to just make a change because he believes I could be the voice of this. Because he said good things in the live on Facebook. He was saying I'm just a good kid from MCI. And he said I could be the one with the voice. And I know it's possible right now, but at the same time, it's just I could spread awareness. I could help this. I could do something about this. I could just change everything if I just keep it as peaceful as possible and just spread love and kindness to everyone. 'Cause like I said again in that speech I made, love thy neighbor and don't hate. Because hate is just going to create even more hate. That's all I got to say right there.
Thank you so much. All right, in the rain.
You want to do a stand-up?
Yeah, I think so.
Plan on going back. You're walking, and at some point, huh? And then at some point we can go.
We're still on Facebook Live. I'm just gonna wrap things up.
Oh yes, please.
Yeah. I believe if we are still on Facebook Live, just discussing that it appears that things are wrapping up here. You can see behind me this crowd. It's essentially dispersed. Several dozen still remain, but appear to be leaving. You can also see that the rain has started coming down, so that's obviously acting as a way to encourage people to head home now. Protesters at the end of this protest, just like last night, they urged peaceful protest. They wanted everyone to go home safely, get to their cars, and then go home and actually reflect on what was just discussed here this evening. So again, that's what we hope happens, but we will be keeping our eyes on this protest until it completely dissolves, but we will wrap up on Facebook now so that we can prepare for our later evening newscasts. Live in Portland, I'm Hannah Deneen, News Center, Maine. I didn't realize it was on Facebook. That whole microphone situation was so awkward.
Yeah, no.
I was like, let me hold it.
I'll just pull up to that.
Thanks.
Chris, you're with us after a while.